Mecca of the black community in Louisville, but the old Walnut Street, now Muhammad Ali Boulevard, between 6th and 32nd Streets in Louisville, is today, frankly, a shadow of its former self. Well, the Louisville Central Community Centers is spearheading an effort to revitalize the corridor. Kevin Fields is the Chief Operating Officer of the organization. Thanks for coming on the Powers That Be.
Thank you, Joe.
We're fascinated by this. First of all, I know our own Doug Proffitt did a documentary-type piece on the news that got all of our attention a few months ago here, and we'll look at some of those pictures here in a minute, but just to remind people that Walnut Street really used to be something.
Absolutely. As the documentary shows, it was the heart of Louisville's African-American community from an economic and cultural perspective. And the piece that Doug did really helped us to take a retrospective and look back at that era. And it really, for us, in today's times, helped us to really share this vision for transformation change into the future. So we're just pleased to be here on behalf of the Old Walnut Street development, because when we talk about Old Walnut Street 40 years ago, we can now talk about Old Walnut Street in terms of $11 million capital investment in the heart of Louisville's Russell neighborhood, right at 13th and Ali, that's really designed to be a catalyst for transformation that really helps us to get back to those thriving economic conditions that once used to be in Russell.
Urban renewal ended up doing just the opposite, historically, I think that's fair to say. Basically more homes for poorer people, not really mixed use. As a result, you kind of created a, almost, for lack of a better word, segregated environment in terms of, and not a lot of economic activity in what used to be a bustling area.
Yeah, urban renewal removed a lot of the existing infrastructure back in the mid-60s that, according to Doug's piece, had it not happened, we may have seen a resurgence similar to what we've seen in New Loop. So what has happened in that era, they tore down those structures and replaced it with federal assisted housing, which then set a pattern of continuous impoverished neighborhoods to happen on into the future. Now, we're working toward an effort to change that. And so we talk about mixed income housing, working closely with Metro Housing Authority and the Choice Neighborhood Planning effort. The vision there is mixed income, housing, economic diversity, and not having just highly concentrated poverty in one segment of our community.
And part of that is being engineered, if you will, by the American Institute of Architects. They were in town about a week or two ago to meet with the community, get their ideas and input, but also kind of lead the conversation and be able to come up with the beginnings of a plan to be able to do that.
Absolutely. We were very fortunate and pleased to host a national team of architects and planners and economists from the American Institute of Architects. The Sustainable Design Assessment Team is the project that we administered here. A 3-day experience, a very intense 3-day experience that allowed that team of 11 professionals to come in and really work with us, engage our community. We engaged some 200 community stakeholders over that 3-day period, including some of the ministry leaders, neighborhood resident leaders, as well as many other stakeholders, a lot of the government officials that deal with urban planning and a lot of the Metro Louisville Forward leaders were there. So the idea is to really help this community to transform. And strategically, from our vantage point with the Old Walnut Street development, it positions us to really help to achieve some collateral economic transformation. Because again, the investment that our organization has made is really designed to be a catalyst for change. And so we can't just sit there and think that when we get done that we've changed the community. We have to see collateral impact. And the good news is it is happening. It's happening in Russell. We're very pleased to be working with Metro Housing Authority, Tim Barry's team, and all the other planners that are helping with that. So we have a 2-year window that will help us to rethink Beecher Terrace, rethink Russell neighborhood, and to really use this boulevard idea as a central piece to that neighborhood development plan.
More of a connector than a divider, if you will. Beecher Terrace right now, I mean, that's that cliche almost, the 9th Street divide that we talk about here, and that pocket of kind of barricade-like housing that you look at there. So my question, I guess, is do you need to change the perception first, or do you need to actually knock things down and start seeing things change to be able to lead to the perception changing?
Yeah, I think we have to work on parallel tracks. I think we have to do things simultaneous. Certainly, the housing creates a structural impediment. And the significant thing about the Russell neighborhood is that it is the gateway from downtown, which is a thriving economic engine in our community, to all of West Louisville through Russell. So when you leave downtown and you're met with highly concentrated low-income housing, then it certainly affects all of West Louisville, because we'd like to see, from our vantage point, more connection to downtown. We want the tourist community, when they come here, to go west. And so we're advocating go west Louisville, because we need those dollars to penetrate. We need jobs to be created as a result of that. And that's what economic transformation looks like for us. Thank you, man.
From the Louisville Central Community Centers, that's Kevin Fields, and you will be following you for more updates. You can see Doug's pieces, by the way, on WHS11.com on the history of Walnut Street. We thank you for joining us this week. Next week, the lawmakers behind the anti-heroin effort in Kentucky will be here. Are the new laws working as they imagined? That's next week right here on The Powers That Do.